So it's been a while since we had a DB precision talk, and I think this is something that had just been popping up to me and been coming up to me that I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about the fear of failure and the reason that it drives us all, right? It drives us all because the thing that we want so much, we don't want to see that slip away, right? Sometimes we don't want to have given our all, have tried and done everything we could possibly do, and then realize, oh crap, I'm just not enough. Right? Or have to finally admit, I get there, I did everything everybody asked me to, I put the work in, and it wasn't for me. But see, though, that's the thing about being driven by failure. Being driven by failure paralyzes you. It puts you in a position to where now you can't move, now you can't work, now you can't perform. And that happens here. Right? It's about the mentality of understanding that whatever's in front of me or whatever I'm trying to accomplish, I have all those things I need. Now, how do we do the rest? Right? Because you don't just get to show up. Right? Like sometimes we sabotage ourselves before we even get there because we don't want to put in the effort. We don't want to give our all. Right? We don't want to be opened up. We don't want to be vulnerable. We don't want to tell our homeboys, hey man, these are all the things that I did to achieve this and then not achieve it. We don't want to build up ourselves or build up our intentions or build up our opportunities or get ourselves excited about getting something and then not getting it. Because this is what happens when you prepare. When you prepare, you start to feel assured. When you prepare, you start to get confidence. When you prepare, you start to feel like that whatever I'm chasing is for me. But that's the feeling you have to want. That's the feeling you have to have. You can't get on the line if you're about to run the 100 and start going through the opportunities you had to prepare for it and saying to yourself, oh, I missed this, or oh, I missed that. No, you prepare yourself to win it. And then if you don't win it, you get to walk off and say, you know what? I did everything right. It's just that the dude in lane 1 was faster than me. But what happens is when this fear builds up and when you start to try to make these decisions and then it's time to put yourself out there, it's time to put yourself out there and show people, hey man, I am ready for this. Hey man, this is for me. Some of us say, it's just better to not know. Some of us say, you know what? If I don't go out and fail, at least they can't call me a failure. Let me explain something to you about failure. The triumphs are in failure. Overcoming is in failure. Fighting through adversity is the things that failure brings. Because we don't know what it feels like to overcome. We don't know what it feels like to win if we've never lost. Because you know what? When you grow up and you're always the best and you're the dude that's picked first, that feels good. And it never gets lame, right? Nobody ever gets tired of being picked first, right? Nobody ever gets upset at winning all of the time. But no one wins forever. The reason that Jordan's 6 championships are great is because we watched the Pistons knock him out in the conference finals. We watched him come back from baseball and see Nick Anderson steal the ball from him. And so that's why when he gets in, he crosses over Russell and he hits the jumper. We feel that. That's important. That's why watching LeBron cry as he held the trophy and said it was for Cleveland was so good because we saw him knocked down. We saw the Boston Celtics. We saw the Detroit Pistons. We saw him lose to Dirk in Dallas, right? We saw the San Antonio Spurs beat Miami. We saw him lose to the Golden State Warriors when he was playing with freaking Dellavedova. But then you come back 3-1 and it's like all the losses, everything that led to this makes this feel so good. So I'm not telling you that losing's okay. I'm not telling you that failing's okay. I'm even not telling you that it's not going to hurt, because it will. And it should do all those things because you should prepare to win. You should think that you are good enough. Because if you're not, if you don't think that, then you shouldn't be trying to do it. Go do something else. If you're scared to play the game, if you're scared to get in the competition, then that means it ain't for you. Because what you should be scared of is that you know that you deserve it and maybe you're just not good enough. But that's not a fear. that shouldn't drive you away from it. That should drive you to it. Because that's why we play the game of football. We play the game of football for proof. You look at the scoreboard for proof. We have records for proof. We have championship trophies for proof. Proof that I'm good enough. Proof that I did enough. Proof that our team is good enough. Proof that we deserve this. Because if we could just show up and it happened, then the only people who would win are the supremely talented. The only people that would win is those who left the hospital with more. But that ain't how it works. That ain't how it's put together. Because a skinny kid from the West Bank of New Orleans that ran 4.5, that didn't get drafted, that first signing bonus checks was $1,000, could play 13 years, can go to the Pro Bowl, can be a Super Bowl champion. Because it's not about just what you leave the hospital with. It's how you cultivate that. It's how you build that. It's about not being scared of the people who did leave the hospital with more, not being scared of the more talented, not listening to those that said you don't have enough, to the people that said you would fail. It's listening to the ones that said you did have enough. It's listening to the ones that said you would be a winner. It's listening to this when you felt you were made in a way that you deserved it. So don't let failure be your driving force for the way you work, for the decisions you make, and for the things that you decide are for you. Let your work, your preparation, let your effort, let your opportunity to get what you feel you deserve be your proof. Man, let it be your proof that you're enough. Don't let failure run your life. Because if you do, you'll be running from opportunity until you die. That's DB Precision Talk.